Hi. So in this video, we'll talk about the popular rack solution, which is implement for the AI assistants to the chat with code. Let's look at the what is the present setup today and what are the opportunities we have. So in the current setup, the knowledge informations are pretty static. So basically, it is a raw data that is present in various sources of informations, and it is not a self-explanatory mode in the sense of you want to go through a lots of pages and pages of links to understand the any knowledge information. There is no way to summarize everything into one single place. Also, the knowledge source is not in the same location. It is scattered across the different locations. For example, there are major release by releases changes are present in Confluence, and the requirements documents and the release notes. Everything is present in PDF, and the primary source code it is present in a different format. So not only a different location as well as the different format of sources are present. So it is very hard to map the different source of information into different areas. And also in the current situation, we are highly depending on the domain experts. So those experts are they're very deep, having a deep knowledge on the functionality. At the same time, they have a very deep knowledge on the technical aspects. So that's creates a single point of contact as well as the bottleneck to the any organization that creates a huge turnaround time for any such implementations. Also, the knowledge bases once it's created, it is very hard to maintain it. Every release and releases, the team needs to be updated, and that requires a huge manual effort to update those knowledge bases. And even if you update those knowledge bases, sometimes it is not 100% accurate. So that's create a cascading effect to the SME knowledge person, and that SME person is getting overburdened, and he is not able to look at the other opportunities that he is want to go out, and at the same time it falls under the shortage of the SME resources. So it is comes with a group of domain experts who wants to maintain this knowledge basis. So these are the opportunities we have. Let's see how we can implement this solutions using the RAG plus the LLM implementations. So the thought process is very simple. Like basically, we have a code, we have a documentations, we have a different source of information present across the places, and how we can bring those together as a one single point of resources, and that we can organize into one single set of resources, and that put it into one of the LLM, and let's generate a one point of sources called vectors, and that vector once we generated as an external knowledge sources, and we will provide those informations to the LLM. Basically, whenever the user requests based on the user prompt, we can fetch from the vectors, and we can put it into the LLM as a context, and we can generate the responses. So this is the fundamental idea behind the scene, how we can able to generate the generate the entire suggestions or summarizations, whatever we can name it. Let's go into the demo part. So let me explain the setup before goes to the demo. So I have a simple application, a Spring Boot application, which has customer information code operations. Basically, it has a customer object, has a name and email ID, and that I put it into a controller class, which has the code operations like finding the customers, getting the customer information, creating the customer, and updating, deleting. All these code operations I implemented using S2 database. So it's a working application which creates, updates the, which perform, in other words, it performs the code operation against the customer's entity. So basically, so the objective right now is as let's convert this entire customer application, customer info application into a vectors. Let's see how it is happening. So here I used the Langflow for the pipeline. So here, if you see the flowchart, so it has a three entries. So as I told earlier, there are three informations, three source of information is needed. So in this case of our sample application is code, and we have a summarization of the code also. So basically, we need to generate the summarization. At the same time, we need to supply the code as well as to the vector. So here, so here we are providing the chat input, which is nothing but our source code informations, and we are prompting the LLM saying that you are the user, and if you want to do a code expert, and analyze the code and provide the summary in detail. So basically, this prompt which is applied to the LLM, and I'm using the LLM called Quen 2.5 Coda 3.5 instructions. Basically, this is the shortest form of model which can run in my remote laptop. But also it is effective. Even though it is a 3 billion parameter, it's that's the results are looks very impressive. So it's equivalent to works like a 70 billion parameters of Llama 3 instructions. So basically, this LLM I used LMStudio, and the model is Quen 2.5 coder, and that sits on my another laptop which hosted on my same network. So that provides an input to the LMStudio, and my LMS provides the summarization of that particular class or the code which I supplied it, and that I'm supplying back again to the Chroma DB. So basically, it makes the chunks spreading into chunks, and then I'm supplying to the Chroma DB. So while using storing into Chroma DB, I convert the text into vectors using my model called a text embedding mnemonic model. So this model converts the text as well as code into the vectors for representations. So there's one way of input. Second way of input is just to convert the any documentations or any source code files that needs to be converted into vectors. That is also possible in this flow. So this is the part one. So basically, at the end result, we will get a Chroma DB persistence once the conversion has happened, and we will supply these conversions into the part 2 implementation. So in the part 2, so earlier we converted that all the code plus the source documents into vectors, and now we are going to use those vectors to retrieve the relevant information according to our needs. So basically, we are going to enable a chat-based, conversational-based chat implementation. So a chat input will be provided. At the same time, our vectors also will be provided. We will going to retrieve those vectors based on the information, and that is getting passed to the various parsing thing, and we will supply so in the prompt, right, that's a catch part. So in the prompt, what we're going to do is we're going to supply all the relevant vectors that is retrieved from the Chroma DB, depends on our query. At the same time, we are going to supply our questions to generate the answers by the LLM itself. Okay, so that prompt message template we are going to supply it as part of the input field for the same model. Same model. It's a Quen 2.5 coder 3B instruction model. And finally, the summary of the result will be supplied to our chat window. Okay, so let's see the demo, working demo, right? So here I already generated the LM responses because of my laptops are resource are very less on the resources. So I pre-generated these responses, and I captured here. So what I asked is just to see the question. So what is the application? Basically, I don't know. As a fresher, I came to this team. I don't know this application itself. Okay. So I don't know this application itself. So I'm asking the this assistants or the conversational chat saying that explain me this application in detail. So now the based on the vectors that we generated already in the vector databases along with the code and the code summarization. So those data is getting into LM again, and it is generated a very beautiful responses. See, it says that customer info is a basic web design AP design project. It leverages the JPA with the database interactions and provides the endpoints to the code operations on the customer data. And it clearly explains me with the code, like what is an entity class, what is a repository class, and how what is the service class we have, and what are the operations that we do in the service classes, and along with that controller classes too. Okay. At the end of the thing, I'm getting a very beautiful summary also in such a way that everyone can understand in a plain English language. Okay, so this is the summary part. Okay, so let's go to the code change part. Okay, so as a next step, once you understand the code, but you want to do certain modifications to the code. So let's see how the LM is responding back based on the data that we stored. So earlier I told right the customer object has only the name and email as an entity object. Now I need to add a information, contact information as part of my entity. And let me see what LM is responding back, saying that how the LM is trying to suggest me to adopt the change. So in the customer object, I need to change the contact field. I need to add the contact field. Can you suggest me which are the files I need to touch and update the business logic? So see these responses. So to add the contact field in the customer entity, you need to make the several changes. So basically, it is ask me to add the customer.java entity class. Okay, along with that, it asks me to generate the data setter method, and it asks me to add the service layer to update the contact field, and respective changes needs to be made in the controller classes. And finally, the database configuration also it's implemented. It is 100%. It is actually working. So basically, it's not only provides a summarization, at the same time it provides a suggestion for the future changes as well. So this will speed up the developers time in terms of the delivery process. So basically all these codes are we can do simply copy paste, and then the developer can execute and make sure that everything works fine, right? Okay, so here is database configuration. In the previous table, previous conversation, it was missing. So now I asked about the DDL schema about the contact field. So again, it gives me a good detailed responses along with the DDL statement as well. Okay, so now I asked the summary question. I asked about the requirement of my changes and its suggestion as well. It is explained well. Now, let me ask about a little bit tricky question to the LLM. So, basically, that ID, whichever ID that is generating for the particular customer column, is auto generated. Now, when I saving the customer info, if I didn't pass that ID, what will happen? So that's a silly question I asked it. Let's see what LM is responding back. Okay, so it's thrown me a pretty straightforward answer saying that the ID is auto generated, and it beautifully explained me saying that hey, this is an ID is auto generated. Okay, so if I'm saying auto generated, how it is getting auto generated based on this example only it is saying, and it's also getting it's giving me a clear cut explanation of why it is auto generated, right? So such a beautiful a curated response I'm getting back from the LM as a responses. And the best part is all these my executions are happening through my local laptop. It's basically um, a 16 gig processor, sorry, 16 gig RAM, and I have a AMD Radeon graphics processor which has 512 MB RAM, and I have a a good amount of CPU cores. It's almost 16 logical cores I have. So basically the LM Studio as well as the Olama are provide me a good flexibility to run it in my local itself, and I can do all these inferences in my CPU itself. We don't need any dedicated GPU, but only for short uh, uh, conversation we can use CPU, but definitely with the GPU. But we can run everything on the local itself. Basically, a developer needs an AI assistant. He or she can run it in the local directly. Okay. So this is what I was trying to explain about the chat with code. Thank you.